Hi guys, welcome to Memo's Tutorials. Today we'll be doing sets. It's very unfortunate that we don't have electricity, so we're going to be having our lesson outside. Don't mind the traffic. I hope you guys are hearing me clearly that side. So, as for set numbers, these sets, I call them set numbers because they don't have an exact square root, right? So now, let's have a look. The first thing that you need to know when dealing with sets, you need to be familiar with your perfect squares. You need to know your perfect squares or your square numbers. What do I mean by perfect squares or square numbers? Or in fact, how do you get a square number? You get it by multiplying a number by itself. For example, I having 1. 1 is a perfect square. 1 is a square number. How did I get 1? By saying 1 times 1. The next perfect square is a 4. How did I get a 4? It's 2 times 2. The next one is a 9. I said 3 times 3. The next one is a 16, 25, all the way up to 100. 400 is for 10 times 10, right? So as we'll be dealing with these sets, you need to be familiar with your perfect squares, okay? Why must you be familiar with these perfect squares? These perfect squares, they've got the exact square root. If I ask you the square root of 64, you automatically know that it's an 8. When I say square root, I'm looking for a number. When it multiplies, when I'm looking for a number that when it multiplies itself, it will give me 64, which is an 8. The square root of 81 is a 9. But as we'll be dealing with set numbers, they don't have exact square roots. If you punch them in your calculator, they'll give you a very long decimal. But even though we need to know how to simplify them, right? So, okay, on question number 1 here, we have square root of mn, okay? When you're given square root of mn, it is the same as square root of m times square root of n. Mn simply means you're multiplying your m and your n, right? The square root of m times square root of m, your answer is a m. So these are the two laws that I want you to be familiar with as we'll be working with these sets, okay? I hope we are together. I will try to be as slow as I can. So now, they want us to simplify these first set numbers here. How are we going to simplify them? Our first set number there is square root of 45. How are we going to simplify square root of 45? So, hear me well. When simplifying sets, you make sure one of the number, you split your 45 and you make sure one of the number is a square number. Why square number? Because square numbers, you know their exact square roots, right? So we have square root of 45. So making use of our square numbers, 45 is root of 9 times root 5, right? Square root of 9. Why did I choose root 9? Because I know the exact square root of 9, which is a 3, right? Square root, we are simply looking for a number that will multiply itself and then it gives us a 9. And that number is a 3. 3 times 3, we get a 9, right? So this will become 3 root 5. Our solution will be 3 root 5. That's for A. What about B? It's the square root of 162. 162 is quite a big number, but I know 162 is square root of 81 times square root of 2. 81 times 2 is 162. Why did I choose square root of 81? I know the exact square root of 81. That's why I chose to work with 81. So whenever you're simplifying sets, make sure one of the numbers is a square number, right? So square root of 81 is a 9. 9 times 9 is a 81. So this becomes 9 root 2. Our final solution becomes 9 root 2. I hope you guys are following. What about square root of x squared y? Okay, that's a very exciting one. X squared y. So the square root of x squared y, the square root of x squared is it's an x. The square root of y we don't know, so we leave it as root y. So it's x root y. That's your final solution. X squared is a square number. The square root of x squared is an x. The one for y is just root y because we don't know the square root of y. You leave it like that. What about root 48? Square root of 48, let me clean. I don't want to overlap and start writing at the bottom where you guys won't be able to see, okay? Let me clean my board for root 48 for us to simplify the square root of 48. Square root of 48. So 48, it's root 16 times root 3, right? 48 is root 16 times root 3. 16 times 3 is a 48. So we know the square root of 16 is a 4. So our final solution is 4 root 3. Okay, so this is the first part of simplifying sets. On our next video, we are going to be moving from this part going back to root 48. You are moving from 4 root 3 back to root 48, right? Hope you guys benefited from